The outgoing year, 2025, has been a year of many achievements, successes, and accomplishments for Russia. As usual, in the final December edition, we present an overview of the most important events that will shape the country's development for many decades to come. What has Russia achieved in the fields of economy, defense, civil industry, infrastructure, and science? Let's remember and rejoice together. By the end of the year, the Russian economy grew by 1. This is less than the 4 growth last year, but such a slowdown was necessary to reduce inflation. With these measures, it was brought down to below 6, which became the lowest level in 5 years. Meanwhile, by several measures, 2025 was a record or strong year for the country. So, although production slowed down, it still increased by 1. Moreover, in the most important sector for us, manufacturing, there was a growth of 3.1. Agricultural production increased by 0.3. The gross harvest of grain and leguminous crops amounted to 137 million tons, including 90 million tons of wheat. This is one of the best results in recent history. The production of major types of meat has increased, and fertilizer production this year grew by 3, reaching a record 65 million tons. Today, only China produces more than us. Despite all the difficulties with lending, Russian companies continued to invest in their own development. Total investment in fixed assets increased by 2, and the number of production facilities launched in the country over the year, according to our channel's calculations, exceeded 330. The best results since 2021. We listed all these new plants, factories, combines, and major production lines in a special episode that was released on the Vremya Vpered channel a few days ago. Now let's recall the most memorable achievements in the fields of defense, science, and technology. For the armed forces of Russia, 2025 has become, without exaggeration, a breakthrough year. They were expanded with a brigade equipped with the new Oreshnik medium-range missile system, and a new division was formed, equipped with the S-500 Prometei anti-aircraft missile systems. The active rearmament of the strategic nuclear forces with Yars missile systems continued, and the aerospace forces received 2 Tu-160M strategic bombers. Overall, a new aircraft production record was set for the entire post-Soviet era. This includes the production of the first prototypes and the start of testing of the upgraded Tu-130M. For the first time, the Su-57 with the advanced Product 177 engine took flight. At the same time, the volume of deliveries to the troops of main types of weapons, military equipment, and ammunition increased by 1/3 compared to 2024. The problem of shell shortages has been largely resolved. In the Navy, a Marine Corps command and 2 Marine divisions have been formed. 20 ships, combat boats, and support vessels have been commissioned into the fleet. This includes the Borei A-class nuclear submarine cruiser Knyaz Podzarsky, armed with Bulava missiles, 2 submarines Yakutsk and Velikiye Luki, the patrol ship Viktor Veliki, the ice-class ship Ivan Popanin, and 2 small missile ships Stavropol and Typhoon. These are carriers of high-precision weapons, as well as the naval minesweeper Afanasy Ivanikov. Additionally, the Sevmash plant launched the Khabarovsk nuclear submarine, Project 09-851, from the slipway. It is known as the first regular carrier of the Poseidon system. This year, the Poseidon was tested at sea for the first time with its nuclear power unit activated, and for the first time, the Burevestnik unlimited range cruise missile was tested in the air. Another significant event was the launch, after a long break, of the nuclear-powered missile cruiser Admiral Nakhimov, followed by this giant going out for trials after a deep modernization. Let's also remember the launch of Russia's long-awaited and most mysterious vessel. Vice Admiral Barilachev Project 22,011 in the interests of the Main Directorate of Deep Sea Research, and also many other remarkable events that we covered in detail throughout the year on our channel. Thus, the armed forces of Russia have significantly strengthened in 2025. However, we also have things to remember in the field of civilian technology. This year, significant efforts of the country were aimed at accelerating import substitution in aviation. The updated Russianized Superjet 100 with the newest domestic PD-8 engine has started certification tests, and the updated Russianized MC-21 with the domestic PD-14 engine has also started certification tests. For the first time, the newly built Tu-214 with domestic PS-90A engines took to the air. At the very end of the year, the long-awaited regional aircraft LMS 901 Baikal with the newest domestic VK-800 engine took to the air for the first time. Test flights of the UTS-800 training aircraft and the Il-114-300 with TV-7117 ST-01 engines continued. Test flights of the Russianized light helicopter Ansad-M with the newest domestic VK-650M engine have begun. CGI conducted tests of the model of the future supersonic civil aircraft Strish, as well as its control systems. Shipbuilders also worked hard. Here are just a few examples. At the Zeopodolsk plant, the production of two of the world's most powerful civil marine reactor units, RITM-400, was completed. They were named Ilya Muromets and Dobrynya Nikitich. Both will be installed on the icebreaker Rossiya, Project 10,510-liter, which is currently under construction and is scheduled to be launched in 2028. At the Baltic shipyard, the nuclear icebreaker Stalingrad, Project 22220 was launched, and construction continued on the icebreakers Yakutia and Leningrad. The Zvezda shipbuilding complex has built the country's first ever liquefied natural gas tanker of ice class. In Kaliningrad, the largest freezer fishing trawler in the country, Viktor Gavrilov, was launched. At the Admiralty shipyards, two large freezer fishing super trawlers of the ST-192 project were laid down. At the Krasnoye Sormovo plant, the lead cruise liner Nikolai Zharkov of the 00840 Karelia project was launched. Among the new automotive industry developments, let's note the start of mass production of Lada Iskra cars, the launch of a trial series of Atom electric vehicles, the start of production of Sadco 9 all-terrain trucks at the Gorky automobile plant, the SF-1 minibus, and the new ST9 pickup truck presented by Solars, the new Moskvich M70 and M90 models, as well as the start of mass production of the new K5 Kamaz tractor and new Baz trucks. Now let's recall the most significant infrastructure and industrial projects. The main construction project of the year was, of course, the first high-speed railway line Moscow-St. Petersburg, work on which has moved into the practical phase and is underway along the entire route. It involves 14,000 people and thousands of pieces of equipment, and metallurgists have already shipped 28,000 tons of rails. At the same time, work is underway to create the high-speed rail train, with 150 Russian companies involved in the project. In Yakutia, construction of the Lenski Bridge continued actively throughout the year, and the Jatayskaya shipyard was launched in trial operation mode. A new port, Lavna, started operating in Murmansk with an investment of 87 billion rubles. New sections have been opened on the Baikal-Amur main line, and unmanned trucks have started operating in test mode on the M12 highway and the Central Ring Road. In Tatarstan, an import substituting ethylene mega complex, EP600, was open. In Moscow, a shipyard for building electric vessels was launched. And in the Kaliningrad region, the country's first gigafactory for lithium-ion energy storage was established. Rosatom has opened the country's first serial production of thermoplastic composite materials. Krasnoyarsk launched Russia's first production of ultra-pure germanium tetrachloride, needed for Kaliningrad optical fiber. Tomsk has started producing hydrogen bromide, a key substance for the microelectronics industry. In the Tula region, the second phase of high molecular polymers production, worth 20 billion rubles, has been launched. In the Chelyabinsk region, the country's first full-cycle production of products made from high-density Russian graphite has been launched. In the Murmansk region, the rare earth element mining site has been restored. At the Vostochny Cosmodrome, a launch pad for Angara carrier rockets, one of the most automated and modern in the world, has been put into operation. And this is just a small part of what has been accomplished in our country in 2025. Next, let's recall the main achievements in the field of science. For the first time in history, Russian cosmonauts on the International Space Station grew perfect crystal structures in open space. This work is part of the Ukren-M experiment. The unique domestic equipment is designed for growing high-purity and ultra-precise semiconductors, using the advantages of space vacuum and weightlessness. In the future, this will pave the way for the creation of autonomous space factories and will allow harmful production to be moved beyond the Earth. In the fall, the long-awaited Bion M2 mission took place. A satellite with living organisms was launched into orbit with a high inclination, passing through high latitudes. An analysis of the condition of the spacecraft's inhabitants who returned to Earth after 30 days of travel showed that this orbit is safe for manned missions. In July, 2 Ionosphera M spacecraft were launched into orbit from the Vostochny Cosmodrome, and soon the entire Ionozond system, consisting of this satellite and 3 others launched earlier, was declared ready for operation. This means that Russia has acquired a unique tool for studying the structure of the ionosphere, disturbances, electromagnetic fields, the composition of the Earth's atmosphere, and the distribution of ozone in its upper layers, as well as monitoring the radiation environment. At the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research in Dubna, the NICA Collider was launched. It will allow scientists to study the properties of matter, which promises significant scientific breakthroughs. A whole series of achievements has been noted in the field of quantum computing. This includes the first 50-qubit quantum computer in Russia, created using cold ion technology, and the implementation of the world's largest quantum algorithm on qubits, as well as the creation of a 72-qubit quantum computer using atomic technologies, as well as hundreds of discoveries in material science, chemistry, pharmaceuticals, biology, and other fields. We've been talking about all of this throughout the year in episodes of the program Vremya Vperiood and on our social media.